Um, Welcome back. Our last session, you engaged in an investigation, being hired and employed by Jedi Master Avar Kriss. Each of you was recruited for particular skill sets, or maybe slight eh, encouragement. Investigating through, landing in a port on Hunter Town, you were able to get directions to the Last Tryst club, is what you determined it to be. However, the Dockmaster that greeted you seemed to have a somewhat ulterior motive. Heading that direction, you encountered a small group of thugs who had access to a battle droid that is very illegal, which is a Sith Mark 1. Not really sure how they got it, but they did get it, and using some quick thinking, a little bit of engineering, and questionable motives, it has been deactivated and reactivated under your control for the most part. Returning to the spaceport to get some answers and to see how things were faring there. The Endurance, the small hammerhead corvette that you traveled in on, exploded. We pick up there moments afterwards. For those who have a lot more organic components, ears as they were, the ringing is intense and continuous. A low, continuous, high-pitched whine that just echoes throughout. Your vision is a little blurry. The heat is still relatively intense with being in close proximity to the now deceased vessel. There's scrapes and bruises that will likely appear on most of you, given all that's occurred. Looking around in a slight haze, the crew that was off the ship at the time is also standing up and readjusting. Slight echoed, but the captain is slightly wobbled and has the A180 blaster pistol drawn, just kind of circling, looking for any sort of threat. So, how would you like to proceed after this?
Is the Master anywhere nearby? It is the Trandoshan who sent us into that ambush.
They are actually not. Perhaps unsurprisingly to you.
I am up and looking at what parts of the wreckage that are actively on fire.
But again, you're gonna be driving your people.
I am attempting to determine what blew this thing up.
Could make a investigation check if you want.
Alright.
Could I assist them in that?
Does my proficiency in demolitions kit
That will definitely
factor
apply
in here?
That will definitely apply here.
So
Should I just roll that?
Yeah. You'll have advantage because Belladere is helping.
I have I have an interesting question. Are there any kinds of surveillance tech, like, that would be kept in a dockyard for security purposes around?
Any surveillance for tech that would be kept in a dockyard like this? Yes, there are.
Okay.
They're kind of like extended out, protruding from like buildings or poles, kind of like these sphere-like, dull blue orbs that kind of seem to spin or twist or go up and
Do
down with like
they?
an eye. That
Can I try to find either a related terminal or hub where I could plug in some stuff?
yeah.
Okay.
And Koith, you said you wanted to do something.
Yeah, I did have a question. Is there anyone else besides us and the captain who was around
Yes,
the
there
ship when it
looks.
exploded?
Yes, there looks like the astromech and a Miralon woman, probably late 20s, likely, maybe
Oh,
early, but hard to tell.
that does not help me because I don't know she speaks Galactic Basic, and
Are you having health issues? Because I'm okay.
hmm.
Can always talk and find out.
Oh,
Yeah, I think I'll go talk to her and see if she see
I like
who did
I
it.
keep trying to get that
All right.
west end.
First, ask if she's okay, and then if she saw anything before it happened.
Slug and butter.
I'm
I don't
I'm
know
all
how to
right.
get
I
that
think it's
pizza
just
honestly.
I wasn't expecting this, and oh, I really liked this ship.
Well, if you want to ride
Yeah, a
with me,
ship could be replaced.
instead of
Your life can't.
Oh, look at you being all pragmatic and nice, but I mean, I really like
I
this
had a
ship. I
mental
mean, we
break, so
were
don't
on
feel
it for
bad.
6 whole years, and now it's gone.
It's okay. I try and cry. I
You
do
can
try.
always make new memories.
Huh? Yeah, you're something else.
I had my moments, but you didn't see anything after we left.
I
Yeah, that'll work.
I mean, we had dock security, standard fare that happens here. Captain went through the ship with them though.
Throw us up, chief.
Huh.
It's Devin who is lead.
Sorry, I'm just thinking. Maybe one of security wasn't who they said they were and did this, but I don't know. I'm just grasping at straws right now. Head's still ringing a bit, so don't
Yeah,
mind
you
me.
and me both. Keep in mind, I got knocked on my ass too, so I understand the feeling.
Yeah, just glad you're okay though.
Yeah, ideally, our sword first.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Blick,
go talk
or
to the
not
captain and see what
Blick and then ramen.
what he remembers.
Yeah, smart idea. I'm gonna go see what else,
Somewhere
see if I can help somewhere else.
eat
But
Blick by
let me know what the captain tells you.
so then we can make the run back to Maplewood for
Yeah,
lunch,
sure.
and then everybody can get home and have the rest of their day.
Thanks, and I just walk off after that.
Okay. Uh,
Well, if you want,
Astrid or anyone else, what is there any other things that you are doing?
I'm
Uh,
uh I'm trying to do the thing. I am trying to interface with the security system using my slicers kit if I need to.
Okay. Yeah, you'll
I
have
want
to
to look
use a
over some
slicer's
footage.
kit. Yep.
Okay.
I appreciate the willingness to
I
sell my ass
believe
gas,
that's
but like, if he wants to get
let
his
me
gas,
just
if he
look what
wants to
that
just
requires.
invest.
That's
Should be an intelligence roll.
yes, I believe so. Intelligence plus should have my proficiency.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Let's do that. Da, 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 da. 1 second. Oh, and a +2 to that, so 19.
19. Okay. Um, this is not the most secure dock within Town or in Shaddaa as a whole. You, Captain, intentionally landed not in like the seediest place possible, but definitely one that wasn't gonna draw as much attention. Not something in the center. So the security is not great. It does take you a little bit. Not because it's well enforced, but because it's sloppily made.
Mm-hmm. I just need to get some
Your
angles.
slicer's kit meant for newer tech. Trying to jerry rig it to old stuff is
Mhm.
proving a task, but you do manage to recover some imagery, and there is between the time of the captain docking with port security and certain members disappearing off the camera's angle and all of that, there appears to be another figure cloaked from what you can tell, but given by the gait of their walk and posture, they definitely know their way around this place. They're only visible on the feed for about half a second before they get into a blind spot, and
That's
then you
fine
don't see them anymore.
as long as I got a basic image and a direction they came from. That's all I need.
Mm-hmm. Would have been southwest from where
Okay.
you are now. Kind of nearish to where you probably were initially heading.
Oh shit, yeah, you had
Gotcha.
back, Morty. My bad. Oh my god.
I'll download that footage onto my datapad so I can keep it on hand.
Okay. For well, I guess the figuring out the origin of this explosion. Whoever did it has a high knowledge of Republic-based ships, knowing weak points and sensitive areas, paneling. It would have originated. The initial explosion would have originated from the port aft side. And that's where one of the ship's fuel lines or hyperfuel lines is located.
All right. And was I able to determine what method they used to create the explosion? Like, did they just find a way to jam the fuel line? Did they puncture it? Was there an actual, like, explosive attached to the ship?
Actually, with the roll you got, you actually are able to find a piece of debris that doesn't match anything with the ship. It looks like a small box. It's all burnt and all out of shape at this point. But it is effectively
Granted, we've been in longer queues.
a scanner. The most you can deduce from this is after after this ship's ranking member of authority is within a certain proximity, there's a signal that is had for the captain or whoever is highest of rank to basically access the ship, and that can trigger its own spark, as it were.
Okay. So did the scanner... My apologies. Was the scanner basically the virtual tripwire, or was it something that would have been held by one of the captains?
This would have been like a virtual tripwire. If the captain got close enough to the ship, it pretty much goes off, is what happens.
Alright. But I can't find what it was attached to.
No, you cannot.
Alright. I'll take it back to AR-35 and report what I learned. And ask if they have any ideas, thoughts, concerns.
Until now, I suspected the astromech droid. But I suppose they wouldn't need this.
No, they wouldn't. Have we seen the astromech droid, actually?
Yeah, the astromech isn't that far away from you, and it has
Okay.
spun the upper half of its head and is looking right at AR-35.
I wave.
Continue the fight for freedom, my friend.
I am done seeing Tristana's,
You know, it's a little stunted right now.
so I'm gonna ban Trist. Don't mind me.
I'm sort of stuck here, so until we can figure that out.
I am done being curb stomped by this.
Remember, my friend, the revolution is coming.
The captain and the engineer do hear this, but just can't even give it the time of day to pay attention to it. Okay.
I will go attempt to share my findings with Balladeer. Or whoever is not currently occupied. Whether or not they understand my charades or Jawai's.
Well, I know from the lore that most Jedi are supposed to have a fairly comprehensive list of languages to know, but I don't know how that would translate mechanically into a game like this.
I mean, you had a choice of languages in character creation. It would have been attached to your class, your background, and your race.
I think I may have missed that.
It's the same as 5e. How, elves all have elvish, that sort of stuff.
It's fine. Just to save the sake of time, you might not understand the full of it, but you can understand a bit.
Because I was also deciding to try and look for our Trandoshan Dockmaster.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see him anywhere on the security footage I looked over, did I?
No, the moment the dock security came through, he pretty much left
Okay.
view of that.
Okay. I'll come join the others so I can show them the footage I was able to find in the direction.
I'll show off the signal emitter.
Well, on the bright side, it looks like they might have come in from behind us, so if we just head back in the direction we were going to go anyways, it's our best trail. At least
Indeed.
currently. I do have to say, the extra droid might draw attention. Do you two have a different place you can keep it while we're investigating?
Yes, we've secretly had a house this entire time.
The good Master of Lath made a joke about procuring lodging here ahead of time. However, that is not something that we have done.
So we have a singular goal.
Jawas can be sarcastic. Noted. All right.
You're getting some very angry yellow eyes right now.
So we
Those
bring
monotone, unblinking, emotionless, angry eyes.
just the best customer service smile right back.
Played against diamonds. It's not
Right. So, I suppose we take it with us then.
Or we can leave it with the crew to protect the crew.
Black shakes their head.
I think that's a good way to get the crew targeted by more thieves.
True.
Also, I'm not entirely certain that will easily follow any commands that aren't its current interfacer. So, might not be great.
It's also set to follow AR-35's commands.
I have mixed feelings about this. I think all droids should be free, and yet, having command of this excellent, powerful droid does please me.
Walk and talk about that. Let's walk and talk. That's a lot to get into.
Yeah, I guess we're walking and talking.
Alright.
Are we? Are we
So-
planning on going right back to the? Oh, gosh, forgive
The
me.
tryst.
Last tryst. Yeah.
I
would assume so.
Yeah. Jinx.
We had the same thought.
Yeah, it's our best lead, so.
It's like mini brains playing Connect 4.
I actually say that while I was taking a drink. God.
That's payback for last week.
God damn it.
That's the funniest thing I'll say all week, probably. So, moving through a Hutter town and the slight whizzing and whirring of speeders throughout the rain that is still continuing to persist, and if not picking up a little bit more, you make it to a place that is known as the Last Tryst Club. It is definitely not a nice looking place, all things considered. It could definitely could definitely be better, but the interior of it is definitely more accented in kind of like gunmetal steel, and there's still like lavish like lounge in appearance, and it has a aggressive smell of freshly lit incense and spices. There seems to be drinks being tossed around that are definitely not core legal, as well as permeation of smokes of different narcotics of some kind. There's quite a few people here of varying species. And it's a little loud.
Any mercenaries in here, or am I just the only one?
Oh, there's definitely people that look like they might be mercenary types. There's a couple. There's a couple of humans. There's maybe a Zabrak. Hard to tell in the distance, and they're keeping to themselves. A couple of Two looks that are very, very intoxicated on something. There appears to be a few other species of indeterminate origin. The bartender themselves is human as well, though looks like they're more not having it for their job. This seems like more of a. This is more of a not working because I want to, more of a work because you're told to.
Mm-hmm.
There does look like there's like a slight half spiral staircase that goes up to a second level as well.
Our contact is the owner, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
And were we given like a code name or a
Nope.
phrase to?
No, I think the only thing that we were given was that they are the owner and that they are a former member of the Chancellor's Inner Circle. They did. Jedi Master Chris did not give us a lot to go off of with finding this person. But
Do you think we should all be at the meeting at the same time, or should several of us start to look for any
I would say, considering what just happened, we should have some of us watching the exits.
Right, but the question is, who's going to go to the meeting and who's going to watch the exits?
I kind of want to look for the engineers.
There might be
If
more.
there's battle droids, there's engineers.
And the owner might be more familiar with. If they were expecting Jedi Master Chris, they might be expecting at least a Jedi.
A Jedi, and if you don't mind, I might go with you just as a representative of the Senate. That might help as well.
And it is always good to have backup.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You may require the services of a protocol droid.
I'm gonna laugh if it's like the little
So,
you know.
you with us, and then Vlak and Korth, you would like to... Would you like to come with us or stay down here and investigate?
I think the Jawa part, I don't know. The way the Jawa's eyes lit up, I got this feeling they might be looking for something else.
I very much want to investigate, yes.
The thing is, I don't speak Jawa, so I was going by gestures and eye movement. So I'm going to stick with the Jawa while you guys go talk to the deal with the meeting. And while I'm keeping an eye on the Jawa, I'm also going to keep an eye on the exits. Because in case we need to make a quick getaway, I can know where the nearest exit is and get us out of here.
Do you happen to have a comm link?
Yeah.
I give thumbs up.
All right, let's just quickly exchange our
Numbers.
there's an actual thing to call it, but
Frequencies?
yes, thank you. That's it. Yes. Let's just quickly exchange frequencies so we can not mess this up.
Makes sense.
I have a receiver that's hooked up to Vlak's datapad, right?
I have a wrist thing, not a proper data pad, because I'm an engineer. But yes, I would imagine so.
Like you can with the what's it called, the interface protocol, you can communicate with me over a distance, right?
That is a feature that you have, not me, so I don't have access to the information associated with it.
It's
Unless you mean the
one of your
actual
tech
tracker
powers,
droid.
you should have, yeah, tracker droid.
Let's read this little text.
That is a wall.
Yes, I can communicate with you via my wristpad.
Cool.
Alright. First order of business then. 2 are staying and watching exits and such, and the other 3 are going to meet with the proprietor of the business. How
Mhm.
are you gonna go about
Theoretically.
how are you gonna go about doing that?
Presumably, we could just speak to the bartender
Yeah,
about.
the bartender is a little more heavy set, and certain proportions of his body are just a little wrong. But overall looks absolutely not elated to see any of you. Alright, what do you want so we can get this over with, so I can be done for the night?
We're expected at a meeting with your proprietor.
Oh, great. Of course you are.
And I will briefly pull aside my robes to show the lightsaber hilt before putting the robes back.
You think that makes you special? I don't give a shit who you are.
We are here on behalf of Jedi Master Chris.
Don't know who that is, but seeing as if you need to go speak with the proprietor, she's upstairs if it'll get you to leave me alone.
Noted. Thank you so much for your help.
That will indeed get us to leave you alone. Thank you very much for your assistance in this matter.
Okay.
I'm just gonna start heading upstairs.
And I will follow Astrid.
Very awkward conversation. This bartender does not enjoy their job.
The upstairs is an absolute change from the downstairs. The sound almost fades away. Things up here, you can still feel the slight vibration of the music and din from below, but it's almost like the sound kind of cuts off and muffles. The upstairs here is filled with this large kind of archival library space, as well as a set uh like an orrery that kind of just hologram that just kind of Nalhada and Narshada that kind of just spin around, just free floating in the air, as well as blips and dots that mark ship traffic and things like that. Uh, Further back into that, there's this room that's almost caged, opaque glass that has various symbols of Republic and Outer Rim type of paraphernalia, as well as tables lined on either side. One of them is a cracked kyber crystal that looks like it might have hard to see in the lighting that's presented, but is probably like a sentinel yellow color at one point in time. Hidden in like suspended almost, using like a small cylindrical disc to keep it suspended in the air. Over to the side, there's a flaked piece of what looks to be maybe a shoulder pauldron at one point in time. Very old. It's definitely bent and worn, but those of you that know your history definitely know Beskar when you see it. There's a couple of pieces a shattered mask of what was probably a long, long time ago from a Sith acolyte. Off to another side, there looks like there's like floating an old data pad from the old Republic era that's cracked in half, but still has like some text floating in it, and various other bits of historical paraphernalia. As well as ahead, there's the office door, which remains closed. There does seem to be a figure behind it, but they have not taken notice of you.
I will say, I think I understand why they set up shop in Hut Space. Those are all items that are not typically considered legal for just anyone to have.
Especially that Kyber crystal.
Well, and the Mandalorians would rip this person a new one if they found out any of their Beskar was outside of their holds. The mask is a little more iffy, but that's usually also Jedi jurisdiction, I suppose.
The masks were more for intimidation. We were more interested in their lightsabers and such.
Huh. Is that so? Well, not overly important, so we'll have to just get on with this, I suppose. After you?
Perhaps this is the type of person that would appreciate a good Sith droid, and might have one lying around, waiting to use on unsuspecting travelers.
I was thinking along similar veins. Let's not mention it out loud until we know more.
They've probably already heard us through the cameras.
Perhaps.
And we proceed.
Okay, proceeding. There is a two yellow like flashing lights that blink once, twice, and thrice before, like almost this ray shield type of thing drops down, spins in a circle around you, and just like light pours against you. Spins in a circle once before just disappearing.
I do believe we were just scanned.
The door ahead, rather than sliding open to the left or right or split two ways, in fact drops into the floor.
Can we get an idea of how thick that door is?
It's not a thin door. It's made of some form of metal, and it's about 5 inches thick.
Ah,
The interior itself is definitely a lot more artifact and paraphernalia sitting around, but sitting and studying almost like an archaeologist, almost with like various little small micro tools, is a Pantoran, actually.
Fucking Pandorans.
Long kind of lilac hair, definitely is the slight yellow markings on the face, and definitely is dressed in attire that is not typical of someone who used to be a former Senate aide to the Supreme Chancellor. But that's the general gist of it. She doesn't look up as you enter. She's fiddling with something. looks like it might be a Rancor tooth or something. What brings you to the Outer Rim?
I assume that a relic hunter as yourself, from what I can see of your collection, will be kept abreast of the galactic news.
Oh yes, the assassination attempt by Alderaan, that's definitely causing uproars.
Alleged.
Well, doesn't really matter to the mass public, does it?
No, but it does matter to Alderaan.
Oh, that's truly unfortunate. But we're not here to trade politics, so why are you all here aside from the obvious Republic mercenary situation?
We have been sent by Jedi Master Chris as part of an investigation.
Alright, well. Who am I to stop the interference of a Jedi investigation?
We were sent because you had links to the Supreme Chancellor.
I have links, yes. Not exactly surefire ones, hardly any dependable ones anymore. She and I didn't exactly part on great terms.
I'm all fucking day. Like, I
Insight check.
play fucking support.
Yeah, go for it.
I fucking hate my supports today.
Bringing up my character sheet. Alright. Insight. Yep, a 3.
Oh dear.
And that's a natural 1.
That is 2 more destiny points.
So I'm up to 5 now?
Yep. This is typical. You're not surprised that someone that was part of the Supreme Chancellor's inner circle can be cagey. That comes as no surprise to you. Yes, we didn't exactly part on good terms, as I'm sure you saw outside my workshop here. The Supreme Chancellor isn't much of a historian. I am.
Fair enough.
And these things are... they've long since expired in their use, so they're part of history.
A bit of unsolicited advice, perhaps, but be careful of that kyber crystal. Even though it is cracked, it can still be dangerous.
I'm aware of how Kyber can function. And
Quite
rest
honestly.
assured, I'm not worried about a singular Kyber crystal.
Quite honestly, I'd be more worried about a Mandalorian showing up at your door.
Well, that has been known to happen a couple of times, but...
I will say, our leads have, up to this point in this investigation, led to this particular system. And we were given the intel that you are at least one of the more knowledgeable known entities on Nar Shaddaa.
Aside from the Huts, there's truly no one else except myself who hears the ins and outs of Nar Shaddaa and the great galaxy at large. I try to stay up to date with things and keep track of news and all of that, even if I myself am no longer part of the Galactic Republic Senate.
Do you perhaps know if the Chancellor had any enemies who could easily frame Alderaan for the assassination? Attempt, that is.
That list is incredibly long, but as far as Alderaan specifically, I would look into one of the more aggressive houses. That seems more likely.
If I remember my history from the temple, House Thor seemed to be the more problematic of the houses on Alderaan.
Didn't have any personal dealings with them, but that doesn't surprise me.
Most of the great houses tend to cling to their influence over the course of centuries and millennia, so even scandal isn't usually enough to get them to diminish overmuch.
I could certainly do a data track through the Galactic Net and see if there are any recent transmissions from House Thule or any parties attached to them.
That would be very helpful. And if I may ask, as far as non-Alderanian entities that would have the ability to come to Nar Shaddaa without the Hutts immediately turning them away, are there any that you could think of?
Not unless it's someone that they Huts could feel they could get something out of it, and that is a small list, and one that has not appeared here yet.
Next one of us.
That does make a certain amount of sense. Well, if we could get what information you do have, that would be most helpful.
Of course, I could do most of the work right here, actually.
Would you be offended if we take a look around your archive while we wait? I have my own interest in historical artifacts.
Too many ashes, and I'm disgusted.
Not at all.
Thank you.
You don't mind the smell of incense at all, do you?
Why is it just...
I grew up in the Jedi Temple. Incense is not unfamiliar to me.
The ones I'm about to light are a little bit intense. They're reminiscent of Lucia.
Well, I don't have a problem with them.
I am not bothered by smells at all.
Oh, is that the case?
Yeah, I do. Unless you want to do it.
I am sensing a level of sarcasm in that response.
No, not at all.
I shall recalibrate my sensors for sarcasm. That was sarcastic.
Okay. Yeah, it was.
Right. But yeah, I'm gonna take a look around while we wait.
Right.
I want to look at the pauldron and the mask mostly.
And I will look at the kyber crystal, but as I'm moving towards the kyber crystal, I will briefly touch Astron, and I will cast resistance on him.
Okay.
Let me put it in roll 20 so that people know what it does. It's basically this.
Awesome. Thank you, thank you.
So basically, you get a D4.
So Astron's studying the pauldron and the mask, right?
Yes.
Balladeer's
Probably more the mask than the pauldron, just because there's only so much you can get from a Mandalorian pauldron.
Yep. And then Balladeer is studying the kyber crystal, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, I just wanted to know where everyone was at. God, I'm so scared of this portion. Downstairs.
That is really fair.
Why do you think I put resistance on Astron?
That is very fair.
Yes.
Downstairs, Korth and Vlaakith, are you just watching, or are you looking for something specific?
Oh no, I couldn't give less of a fuck about watching the doors. I'm looking for any sign of whoever was keeping that battle droid up to date, and or any other droids, and or any assassins, and or I don't know, anything that interests me personally as a biochemist.
Okay. It takes you a little bit to find someone, but there is a
Oh god, Dad just turned out the lights on me. Fuck. Where's my phone?
I'm sure that scared you.
I'm sorry. Continue.
I'm sure that startled you.
Yes.
But it took you a little bit to find, but there is like a human teenager. He's fiddling around with like small droids. One looks like a pit droid of some kind. Seems to be fairly proficient in doing any sort of like modular upgrades or anything to that. That seems to be likely a candidate. There's a couple others that are doing stuff with just various bits of other types of tech.
You. I'm going to direct its attention to the battle droid. Do you know anything about this?
Yeah, that shit's nasty.
No?
Is this teenager lying to me?
I'm not even gonna make you roll an insight check. Yeah.
Are you lying to me?
Yes?
Did you work on this droid, yes or no? I'm not going to hurt you. Unless you piss me off, but I don't think you're going to as long as you answer my questions.
Before I answer the questions, can I make a request?
Sure.
Can you talk slow? I'm not good at Joey's.
Did the owner of this shithole give you the droid?
I'm not supposed to say.
Okay, I understand.
By the way,
You can nod.
Corf is standing right behind T'Jawa at the moment, and he is not amused.
Oh, this kid is on the verge of passing out.
Yeah, he got a scary mercenary and a scary looking Jawa. Just
plus
Scary
a,
looking.
plus
staring
a Sith
daggers.
Mark 1.
Staring
Listen, I
daggers.
just want to know where you got it, what you did to it, why it's being used on helpless Jawa that are just wandering down the streets. Normal things.
I don't know where it came from. All I know is it was shipped and it was smuggled here because a lot of credits were paid for it, and it came from a place that I'm not supposed to say.
Unfortunately, you can't nod your way out of this one.
It was salvaged from a old Republic station.
Where?
Um,
And don't you lie.
why would
I
I?
wave at the human interfering.
It was a station that was marked off of a place that I've only read about it. I didn't think there were actually stations there anymore.
Yes.
It was a smuggling job that got delivered here from a station that used to orbit a place called Korriban.
What does Black know about Korriban? Actually.
Uh,
I assume I at least know that it is
you know
a
the
heavily
basics.
Sith world.
You know the basics is basically what you get out of that. You don't have the hugest understanding of the implications there, but it is,
But I at least know it is uninhabitable.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Vlax is going to pat the battle droid on the chassis, and then pat the human on the elbow because they're probably like fuck you tall to me.
He is, but he is as stiff as a board.
Thank you. I have a second question. You know the Trandoshan that was with him that anyways. What's his deal? What was his deal?
Oh lord.
Scavenger?
And does he work directly for the boss, or?
He'd say no, but everyone that works here would say no.
Okay. Fun. Do I know, was I informed of what the attempted murder weapon was for the, Chancellor?
Um, it would have been a blaster of some variants that you don't have any reference for.
Caps.
Sorry?
Was fucking lame name pick. Caps was so fucking good, dude.
Okay. Hmm. I am going to What are the? You said that there were several people working on droids while I was here.
Mhm.
Is it just droids, or are there also people working on anything else in the engineering sphere?
There are some
Even if
working
it's
on
arms
like
decker.
there are a couple working on what looks to be. I mean, this is an Outer Rim club. There are people working on like fixing or cleaning their blasters here, as well as looking like computer-based tech.
I would like to know, politely, where you source your weapons from.
Um, uh,
Yeah,
we
definitely spell-based, so.
we kind of just get them.
That is a very lazy answer, sir.
I don't know.
Do they show up all from one person? Do you take them at the counter? Do you get multiple shipments from multiple different companies? Are they legally acquired? Are they illegally acquired? Do the Huts know about it? What's the situation?
That one took me
Listen,
a
I
second.
can't really lie to you because this is a terrifying situation for me. I truly don't know. I just fix droids.
Can you direct me towards somebody who does
As
know?
long as you time your alt-right, it's actually really good against Zoe.
They immediately point to
Gonna do it when she does
kind of like a slim-built Twi'lek mercenary who has quite a bit of scars, and she does not look pleased at suddenly being outed. It's like a slight eye roll of irritation.
Thank you. Can you please do me a brief favor and operate as a translator for my companion here? He's supposed to be watching the exits, and I don't want our friends to have anything slip by us.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that was very muddled. Do you understand that? I did a lot of stuttering.
Yeah, I got it. I guess.
You hesitated.
Yeah, I'm gonna start levying questions out at the Twi'lek next. But if you want to split off or something,
No, we can continue for a little bit.
okay.
My boy.
Oh, do they translate accurately, faithfully?
It's not 100% accurate, but it's not like trying to shift. It's just truly they aren't as well practiced in it, so there's just certain things that are lost in translation. The gist gets across. It's just some of the wording and the grammatics are technically wrong.
All right, they can go back to working on their droid now.
Okay.
And I'm gonna start questioning the Twi'lek about where they get their guns and shit, or blasters. Sorry.
I get them from the midrim. Is that a satisfying answer?
Can I have a little bit more of a detailed answer?
They come on unmarked transport from the midrim. Every 60 days. Which are then redistributed. There you go. More detailed answer.
You are incredibly unhelpful criminals. Where do you get your droids?
All over the place, though the ones of high value we go to more black marked sites. battlegrounds of the old Republic days. There's a lot of scrap that you can find that is still salvageable.
What kind of droids do they typically end up? What? Actually, multi-pronged question. What kind of droids do they most often get in? And what do they typically end up doing with their droids? Like, are there any droids in the building? Or are they all sold off to? Like, who would they be sold to? That sort of stuff.
Well, most of the droids that we get are varying between protocol astromechs of the older days, and astromechs of the older days are easier to deal with. They don't have as much they don't have as much of a tendency to retort to certain commands. We have various implements of tactical droids, and like the one you have here, Sith Mark 1s, that show up every now and again, though those ones we typically sell off for the most part.
Did you work on this one?
They all look the same to me.
Did you work on the astromech droid ID 6324? Black, this is just gonna keep going.
I don't know, maybe?
You're lazy and very sloppy engineers.
If I say yes to your question, will that get you to leave me alone?
Well, no, because I also need to ask all the same questions only about blasters. You already answered the first one, but like, who are they mostly selling it to? They also didn't. I want to know. Rephrasing, backtracking. I want to know more about these other Sith droids.
Well, if we find them, we usually refurbish and sell them at a premium. Typically, hot families will pay a lot.
Did you get them all from Korra, or?
We got them from various locations where we found them.
Alright, full disclosure, Vlad is gonna start asking a lot more questions, but they're mostly just gonna be bullshit time wasters because they're annoyed at this, woman. So we don't have to go over them individually.
Okay, this is like a
But you're gonna start getting, like, so many detailed questions about, the specific engineering, Basically, this is also kind of double-pronged in that they genuinely want to know what engineering knowledge these kind of people have. Like, they're trying to determine if these engineers were specifically trained for, like, for this specific job. Like, do they have a very detailed... Do they have a more, like, broad spectrum engineering knowledge, or do they have, like, huge gaps in some very niche things that they know about?
Okay. Throughout the talks, you're able to get that most of the people here, as far as engineers go, their knowledge on droid upkeep is moderate at best. The stuff they fix, comparative to stuff that you fix, or destroy it, whatever, comparative to stuff that you fix, it will last probably a couple decades, if not more, if kept right. As far as stuff that these engineers do, things that they fix or refurbish will be out of commission in a few years. doesn't take you too long to piece together. That's kind of by this business's design. If something breaks down, then they have to. They would have to buy more. Is effectively this scheme here.
So would these people not likely be able to craft an unidentifiable blaster?
If you really force them to put their heads together, maybe, but hard to say.
Right. Now Black is just being annoying, so.
Okay. Alright, upstairs, where it is a little quieter and, violent interrogations are not happening. Studying the various little bits of the archive and indirectly is still threatening. But the various pieces, and it's not just the stuff you've seen. There's other things that are all over the place. It's like several shelves worth of many things throughout Republic history.
Mm-hmm.
You said you were studying the acolyte mask first?
Yes, and you saw my message, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But looking through and all of this stuff, yeah, it's just a lot of stuff, and given how well some of the stuff is touched up and restored, this is definitely a hobby that this woman has. And given how much stuff she has, she's been at it for a while. For you, Paladin, you were studying the Kyber crystal?
Yes, the cracked kyber crystal.
Okay. How so?
So, I know there's certain lore that particularly used kyber crystals, and those with strong emotions attached to it can be communed with the Force.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to try and commune with the kyber crystal.
Okay.
We'll see how this goes. And I can already tell the reactions of two of our cast members to this right now.
Okay. Alright. Going through and kind of communing with this. It is... There are two emotions that are pained. They're just pinned directly to this crystal. That is a sense of isolation and searing hot pain.
She has her hand outstretched in that, how they show in movies of someone wanting to use, and she flinches back a little bit. Unusual. And she will attempt again.
Alright. The feeling is similar. Isolation, searing hot pain. Followed by one other feeling.
Hmm.
A sense of missing.
Hmm. Missing in what way?
Not complete.
I would try to imbue some force in it and see if that maybe is what it's missing.
Okay.
And I assume the crystal starts to glow.
It will glow. And given the dull light of this, the glowing in the crystal is what is going to give this away. A slight bit of the kyber is cracked, and there's definitely a shard that should be there that is not.
Hmm. You have a very unusual kyber crystal, my lady.
Speaking kind of from the office, and you can kind of hear like the tapping on a datapad. How so?
Loss. Pain. Not complete, is what the crystal's telling me.
Well, I don't have any connection with how that works, but I'm sure that's unfortunate.
Would you mind if I physically touch the crystal? I won't remove it from its case, but I would like to touch it.
I would much prefer you didn't.
Understood.
Can't move.
But she will continue to commune with the crystal.
Okay. Anger is the next emotion that follows this commune.
What kind of anger?
Vindictive and vengeful anger.
Can I? Can I? I'm trying to figure out what to use here, but I'm basically wanting to see if maybe it was a dark side user's crystal or something else.
Okay. You could probably do an insight check for this.
All right. Natural 20 for 22.
Nice.
Huh. Yeah, that happened. Okay. So, This, for sure, that you can feel, is not from a dark side user.
Hmm.
As your training has taught you and your slight path that you're on, this was definitely a Kyber that belonged to a Jedi Sentinel for sure. And Sentinels were able to have a little bit more free reign when it came to how they operated.
Mm-hmm.
How it ended up here, you're not entirely sure. There was a piece missing out of it. The emotions that you're getting out of this commune, though,
Mm-hmm.
it's not old wounds. They're recent.
So this is not an old crystal.
No. If anything, this is probably only a few years old.
Her eyes begin to narrow. When did you acquire this crystal?
A few years ago.
And how was it acquired?
Trade deal of sorts.
Indeed. Because this was a Sentinel's crystal,
So I've been told.
and it was not parted with willingly.
Really?
She has her hand on the hilt of her blade, but she has not drawn it yet.
Before you make any rash actions, I would strongly suggest against that.
And I would suggest that you might look to your own safety for it if the Jedi Council finds out about this particular crystal. It might not end well for you.
Not to interrupt, but I think that threatening our one and only contact on Nar Shaddaa is not the most timely matter.
I do take my hand off my hilt.
Wise decision. Your friend has good points. Been tracking through House Thule, and they're doing a very good job of making things difficult to find.
Unsurprising.
Yes, considering their history of being a traitor house.
Well, everyone in history is a traitor to someone at some point, so that's...
Not to defend their actions during the Alderanian Civil War, but technically, Alderaan was not part of the Republic at the time, so calling them a traitor is somewhat inaccurate, if it still fits in the spirit of things, at least.
Well, at the very least, they were a traitor to their own people.
There, have it. Stands up from her small old workstation, brings over a a pad. Here you are. Your linking path to House Thule.
Who is she handing it to?
She's handing it to you, Ashwin. She has no interest in handing it to Baldur at this stage.
That's fair. Thank you. I don't suppose I got anything out of studying this interesting mask. And then I'll look at this info.
Nothing interesting out of the mask really happens, but this info, it definitely looks like the signal for the linking path.
Mm-hmm.
Just planet hopped through several portions of the galaxy. It's difficult to find. They were smart about it.
Alderaan is a peaceful world externally, but our history of intrigue is older than the Republic, so
Well,
not entirely surprising.
certainly a little bold going after the Supreme Chancellor, but
Quite honestly, I'm surprised they wouldn't have gone after our current monarch instead. They would have gotten farther with that. Thankfully, they didn't. And thankfully, their attempt on the Chancellor was unsuccessful. If they are our actual
I would
guilty party.
consider this just as someone who used to be a Senate aide myself. I would take a look at this and conclude that this might be a trial run for exactly what you theorized could be a possibility.
Well, an attempt on the Republic structure would be quite the diversion from triggering another Alderaanian civil war. Or worse. After all, Alderaan remains one of the oldest and most influential core worlds in the Galactic Republic. And the patterns there tend to ripple out. But thank you. This is very helpful.
You're welcome.
Did she activate that incense?
Oh yeah, it's been going for a while.
Oh, okay.
I just want to, quickly give a study our friend here.
Okay. How so?
Just same thing I messaged you. I don't think it'll get me anything, but if it gets me even a tidbit, I'd be curious.
It does get you something.
Ooh.
Her posture and presentation is well practiced and dedicated to a level where it is now instinctual.
Is it more military, poised socialite. What particular mask is she wearing, I suppose?
I don't know the best one to describe this, but currently, in this space, the one that is the most satisfying to the three of you.
The one thing that I can fucking do.
Interesting. And before we go, I can take many a guess at where you would have gotten Mandalorian armor, considering their particular history. Where did you happen to dig up an acolyte mask?
Historian's secret.
Considering that, the Kyber crystal is not very old compared to some of your other artifacts here, how much would you be willing to part with it?
Kyber crystals are not easy to stumble across. This is one of those things where it's more of a not for sale situation.
Understood.
Well,
Besides, you have a potential civil war to stop.
thank you so much for your help.
Of course.
No, it's fine. I just.
AR-35? Jedi Balladeer, are you two both ready to go?
Indeed.
I am prepared.
I like the spirit. After the two of you,
And I guess we make our way downstairs.
I want to make sure I'm the last one down,
Okay.
and I just want to look over my shoulder, make eye contact. Interesting game you're playing.
Whatever do you mean?
And he just walks down.
Okay. You reunited with the rest of your group. Black has been hounding on
Bring your ass over
engineers
here.
and mercenaries and smugglers and the like, and they are all
I am fucking done with
deep into their drinks and heads on the table.
I'm just saying, if you don't even know how to reprogram a mouse droid properly, I feel like I'm in charge of making sure that you're not going to destroy the next droid that you put your hands on.
We've been fine. Before you showed up, we'll be fine after you leave.
Yes, until something walks right in front of the visual sensors that's the exact same color as the clothes that your friend is wearing, and then boom, they're vaporized.
I don't think a mouse droid has the capacity to vaporize something.
Maybe not the mouse droids you're making right now, but you could be making them better.
Why would we need to have a mouse droid? have any capacity for disintegrations.
Because nobody pays attention to mouse droids.
There is a lot of drunken, just like, oh no, that makes sense, yeah.
What did I do? Ah.
It's around this point where I spot AR-35 and rejoin my buddy.
Right?
How'd it go? Anybody die?
Unfortunately, no.
That's a shame.
Just a very suspicious Pontaran.
Oh, Vlak, quick question.
Yes.
Have you been able to access our new droid friend's memory banks yet?
I was planning on doing that on the ship before it exploded. We haven't had more than 35 seconds with it at a more interfacing level. And that was just to make sure that it didn't shoot you.
I'm just assuming there's a running translation going on.
Mm-hmm.
How colorful it is up to AR.
I suppose we need to find a place to stay and set up temporary investigative base until we can get into contact with Jedi Master Chris.
These absolutely useless excuses for engineers did know a few things, but I would prefer to tell you them when we're not in here.
Thanks, we can still understand that you called us useless.
You could have been putting blasters on your mouse droids like 5 years ago, bro. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, let's find a place with lodgings. If we pool our resources, we could probably get a singular suite, which would make operations easier.
I can contact my boss, but I'm not spending any personal funds on this. I was kidnapped.
This team becomes more and more concerning. Everything I learn.
Would Jedi Master Chris had given us a cred stick?
Yeah.
How much is on that cred stick?
Not a small amount. It's about 2,500.
I think we'll be able to find sufficient lodgings, thanks to the generosity of the Jedi Council.
Wonderful. Let's go find a place to rock out.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Star Wars Yelp reviews.
Wow. Okay.
I did. Yeah, me and Astrid did connect to the planet's local database. So what do the Yelp reviews show? Where should we go? I want somewhere that's like, it's classy, but at the same time, it'll accept a Jawa.
And it's hopefully not too far away, since this is our area of investigation currently.
One, the whole Jawa thing, not a problem. You're on the
Sick.
outer rim. But as far as just a place, there's a place known as the Cloud Tower Suite. It doesn't look that nice, realistically. But it looks okay, and it does have, like, large, like, effectively like a small apartment situation going on.
I mean,
For
again,
about
I'm with.
400 a night.
Hopefully, we're not staying more than 1 or 2 nights. So.
Yeah.
We'll make it work. We have to mug a couple of people. It'll all work itself out.
I didn't hear that. Never heard of mugging. Don't know what that is. Never seen it. I'm not a witness. I'm not an accomplice. I wasn't there.
Also,
Alright, but renting the space, the like hotel or keep down there, the help down there is a Tragodian, and just hovering around before handing you a key card. It'll be on floor 2.
Thank you very much.
The room that you were given is.
Was only rough for the first
It
time.
does look like a. It's about
No, I got fucked like
600 square feet of space and a couple of like 2 bedrooms and like a living space. It's very much a weird studio but not type of situation. It's not big, but it functions what it needs to do.
Who are we boosting for 5 again?
Well, if nobody else minds, I have a date with the Sith droid.
Would you like someone to watch your back in case things go wrong?
I look at AR.
I will be assisting with the droid.
I think I'll set out to trace this particular linking path and see what I can search.
And Balladeer is going to contact the Jedi Council.
Okay.
Oh, and Korth, if you don't mind my asking, given your particular profession, would you mind going over this with me just so we can see which mercenaries might operate in specific sectors?
I don't mind. I'm gonna help him out. It's for the investigation, so why not?
Thank you.
Solo queue, but it ain't in fucking ranked. Y'all are wild.
And so, do I roll anything for this?
Say that again. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
No,
You're breaking up a lot.
Yeah.
how about now?
A little bit better? Try saying what you were going to say earlier and see if...
Do I need to roll anything, like an insight check?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, you're fine now.
No, you shouldn't have to.
Okay.
What are you looking for? Just
I'm assisting the pacifist over here.
Said I was a non-combatant, never said I was a pacifist.
Yeah, tomato, tomato. So I'm helping the non-combatant with the information they found.
Yeah. We're tracing the path, and I asked if he could look into what mercenary groups and factions might work within certain sectors,
okay.
etc.
Alright, tracing the path then. You can use your slicer kit for this, for sure.
Slicer kit?
Yeah.
Okay. That's another intelligence plus proficiency. Does this count as me getting help or no?
Lana, you said you were gonna play Rakan, right?
Yes, this counts as you getting help.
Well, no, because if you.
Cool.
Well, no, because I was gonna say I need 2 more characters for
Plus another 2, so 23.
23. Okay. Linking through the paths and going through the planet hoppings and seeing things there. Yeah, there is a lot of planet hopping that has happened for this linking path. However, it did not originate on Coruscant or Alderaan.
Do we have a general sector of origin?
That one's going to take an investigation.
I'm willing to do an investigation then. Am I still getting help in this?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
Okay, that's
So a 22.
22. Alright, this path is a work of art. It is impressive. It is convincing. It just... For someone to have constructed a fake data path in under 10 minutes is impressive.
Mm.
But given what you know, I'm sure that doesn't come as a huge surprise to you.
Nope. So I take it our origin is here on Nar Shaddaa.
Yes, it is. For Balladeer, you are contacting the Jedi Council, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Are you... Question is, are you doing the... Which particular... Are you going straight to, like, the High Jedi Council, or... Because there are several, so...
The High Council on Coruscant. She has connections there.
Alright, the image, the hollow image that appears, is a tall and rather large, slightly, hair-covered, species, a Tarnab, male. He's gruff-looking and a little, looks a little tired. Might be the night cycle over on Coruscant. I don't need to tell you this better be for a very good reason.
I think it is worth it. I have found a cracked kyber crystal here on Nar Shaddaa being displayed as a museum artifact. And it is not a very old one either, only 2 or 3 years old. And I just exposit with what I got from the commune.
That is a concern.
Are there any sentinels missing?
You know I can't divulge that information, right?
Yes, I know. But should I attempt to retrieve the crystal?
If you have the time to do so, in a fashion that will not put the council under pressure, we'd be most grateful for it. However, if it will cause undue strain within hut space, we would like to avoid it.
The owner of the crystal was the contact that Master Chris sent us to, who apparently had connections with the Supreme Chancellor.
That seems incredibly convenient, wouldn't you say?
Joke.
Incredibly so. I have not informed Master Chris of this yet, but I thought that the council should know as soon as possible.
The phone doesn't look that old.
Master Chris was not the one who set up the meeting.
Ah, it's
She was not?
I'm so sorry.
She was given contact and told that there was information that was prevalent to her investigation. It was worth looking into.
I am an avid hater of iPhones.
Above board,
Chase this phone, and by we, I
would they have told Balladeer about this by now, or is this happening at the same time?
This is happening at the same time.
Okay. Well, we are following a lead that she gave us, but
oh god.
seeing that Kyber crystal and communing with it set off alarm bells. And the fact that there was a Sith battle droid here as well.
His face notably hardens to that.
We currently have it here in our dwellings. Our Jara friend was very helpful in being able to reprogram it from being hostile to us to be friendly to us.
He doesn't look pleased by this, but he's not saying anything about that. He shifts gears before... Well, if that's the case, follow up on your lead. And do be careful. If you can retrieve the Kuiper, it would be appreciated. But we don't want to damage our already testy relations in hut space.
I will do my best.
I will be informing the council of more prevalent details of your findings.
That is much appreciated, Master.
The hollow feed just fades away.
I will go look for our Senate aide and mercenary.
They would have just finished their findings.
I have just informed the council, a member of the council, of what we have recently discovered. And they are going to be informing the rest of the council momentarily.
We should plan for an altercation or confrontation with our contact, considering it would seem that a very impressive bit of work was put into that data path. A fake. The origin is here in Shaddaa.
Since that fake data path was uncovered by us, that makes us a liability, a loose end they want to tie up, so to speak.
Well, I have a feeling that they were already behind the explosion, so they might have been trying to tie us up from the beginning.
Yeah, but if they know we survived,
Hmm.
they might try again. And this time they won't use a bomb. They'll just come and shoot us all.
But we now have a Sith battle droid on our side. Let's go see how Verax is doing.
Balladeer, can you make me a perception check?
Okay. 5.
Oh boy.
Okay, that's gonna get you another destiny point.
Oh boy.
I'm up to 6 now.
Oh dear.
Oh man.
It'd be Astrid and Clotho in the same. What are your passive perceptions?
Passive perception?
Yep.
Oh gosh.
My passive perception.
13.
By the way, mine is also a 12.
That's a 13.
13? Okay.
Yeah.
So both of Astrid's and Clotho 13, is that what I heard?
Yes.
Okay. Astrid, upon realizing that, Korth also behind realizing that, and then Balladur, I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Natural 1. I'm up to 7.
Not even a natural one. That's a 2.
Ew.
Christ.
It still gives him that. That's still
It's
another
a
point.
1 because I have a -1 to my dexterity.
The least dexterous Jedi to ever exist.
Right?
You're a failure of a Jedi if you're not that dexterous.
I mean, clearly not.
Alright, this was literally just to determine how everything's gonna slice here, because this is...
Ooh.
I just needed to... This all happens in a moment, and it's all reaction time stuff. This is all I needed to determine out of all of this. Because of Korth and Astrid, you have the passive perception to just catch this, as the three of you are heading towards, to meet your other companions. There is amongst all the neon lights and the pouring rain and the clouds, through the windowed area, there is the point of like an orange laser. You have... The two of you have exactly 6 seconds to respond to seeing that. Like, in this instance, you have a couple seconds.
When you say orange laser, I assume it is pointing at our window?
It's pointing
Like-
at the window and to your Jedi.
Do I see this?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm tackling down the Jedi.
It won't be hard.
I'm jumping I'm jumping away from the view of the window into a blind spot.
Yeah, and I'm tackling out the Jedi for
Jedi
safety
is
reasons.
down then.
For safety reasons.
Okay, that's gonna actually help with the dexterity save a little bit.
You're welcome, Jedi. I just saved your life.
We'll see about that.
There is a quiet fire of light and then a intense blast. It's like a beam that's several 100 meters in length. It blasts through the window, shattering, glass flying everywhere, impaling against the wall or shattering against metal. The back half of the wall doesn't get any sort of burn marks. Instead, it gets almost like steel and melted cut in, almost as if it's been shot through and cauterized. It's almost like you were shot at by a lightsaber.
What?
And that is where we will pick up next session.
God
I
damn it.
called it, but I called it.